Hey guys, it's Tiffany Harlick, and I'm here to help you wrap up the end of November, the 27th through the 30th, with a little astrological insight. And so I know that we've talked about this being a 9 month in the numerology, it being a month where we are integrating, we are coming more about closure than about starting new things. And so I know by the end of the month, some of you might be a little overstimulated. And this can also be reflected in the astrology because on the 27th, so again, you could feel this a few days ahead, a few days after, it's around, but it peaks on the 27th that Mercury in the sky is going to square with Neptune in the sky. So these are two planets that help us think, that help us vision, that help us envision. These are the visionary planets. Mercury is the learner and the student and the computer, and Neptune is more the yogi and the dissolver and the taker away of thoughts and the blender of energy, right? And so when Mercury square Neptune, Neptune also rules things like oil and water and things that are under the sea. You might see in the media some things that are challenging in these departments. So I want you to be careful with your drugs and alcohol. If you're a recreational person, this is a time when things don't necessarily go like they normally go. So I want you to be really careful, right? Just really careful. Stay hydrated. There can be toxins, there can be accidents. Mercury square Neptune, it's not ideal. And so I want you to be aware of some of the curveballs that may be happening. Things aren't as they seem. Not a great time to travel. Great time to take all precautions, to play it safe, to go slow, to stay hydrated, to get your sleep, to make sure your electrolyte levels are where they need to be. This is exacerbated because we've got a full moon that same day at 4 degrees of Gemini. And so your full moon intention, here you go. I gracefully let go of unnecessary business, overextension, and emotionally exhausting relationships to create space for greater alignment with vitality, health, and sustainable paces. I call the Gemini full moon the moon where too many tabs are open. So what tabs do you need to close and just be done with? What's overstimulating you that you can kind of take off the plate? Do you have too much caffeine in your life? Do you need to go to half caff? Do you have I don't know, too many plans going? Do you need to reel it back a little bit? This is a moon that illuminates data in your life. And so you're going to get a good, clear picture of what's working and what's not working. There's always excess energy around the full moon. So the tide is high, blood flows are high, karmic bills are high. There's that excess energy. Cycles are breaking. It can be intense out there. But the full moon is also an interesting time to showcase your work because the full moon is all eyes on you. It can be an interesting time to find hidden objects. It can be an interesting time to find missing persons or pets. So even this morning, it was kind of weird. I did my yoga practice, and I usually offer it as in devotion to something. And this morning, it was to lost pets. And I was like, that's a weird one. But that's what I heard. I went for it. The idea here is that more can be shown under the light of the full moon. So, of course, this phase is the third peg of a four lunar cycle, and it started back on May 30th of 2022. Something started with Gemini. Okay, so May 30th of 2022, maybe you started a class, maybe you reconnected with a childhood friend, maybe you launched some new tech or software or something like this. And what was going on in the realm of sharing data, information exchange, back in May of 2022. And then in February of 2023, something shifted gears. You pivoted. And now in November, under this full moon in Gemini, more is revealed. You get more to the story. You know what's working and what's not working. And that way you can close up this whole lesson with this Gemini moon in August of 2024 when the mission will be complete. So, The last little transit we have in November is on the 29th. Venus will oppose the North Node. So if she's opposing the North Node, that means she's conjunct or right on top of the South Node. Kissing is what my teacher called it. So if you have a conjunction, it's when two planets are right next to each other. Astrologers disagree on what orb to use. I usually like it to be within a 3 to 5 degree orb. Some astrologers use a 10-degree orb, but it's right next to each other. So Venus is going right over the South Node. I, in the metaphysical space, kind of like it because it feels like deja vu. It feels like we've been here before. It feels like you're connecting with somebody that you intimately know well on many, many lifetimes. It can also be a time, Venus relationships, when you are saying goodbye to someone that the season is over, right? The season of your connection is over. Now, don't take my word for that. That's a decision for you. I would never make that decision for you. But something is just calling you forward that feels fated, that feels like deja vu. And part of that calling you forward means that something else is going to drop away, right? And it's going to be okay. So look around and see who's cheering you on, who is really like there for your best and highest good, who sees you, who recognizes you, who do you love to support as well? Where does it feel equal, balanced, good, healthy, juicy? Take a little relationship inventory at the end of November. Look around, see what's going well and what isn't, and make some new choices. Pivot under this full moon. All right, guys, I hope this is useful. I hope you have a beautiful month. And remember that your intention is more important than anything out there, that you have a precious human life and that you're not going to waste it. You're going to use it. You're going to live to your highest potential. My heart is with you, and namaste.